just put my light on. Oh, there we go. You can see me a bit better now. Wow, it's back down with a bump, isn't it? And for those that used to listen or did listen to such a show, it feels apt to play the following. Yes, look, you know, we had 2 back-to-back games in Wales and both ended in defeat. So let's stop that. Evening, gents. I'll finish the intro and then I'll come back to you. There's only 3 of us again in it tonight. But yes, 2 back-to-back defeats in Wales. And after 3 signings and a win against Blackpool, everybody felt the tide was turning. Well, we did warn you and we did discuss last Saturday and even on Thursday that in that Blackpool game, there were elements of weaknesses and things that we still had to be conscious of. And if a better attacking side were playing against us, they might have actually taken those points back off us. Well, that was evident today, wasn't it, with Cardiff, a team who since relegation from the Championship 2 has managed to maintain their squad and shows why they are top of the league. For Argyle, a team that is pretty much the opposite in both those accounts. Yes, there was a worldie and 2 unlucky deflections, and sadly for Waidu, has Argyle, he's now Argyle's top scorer for the wrong reasons. But missed chances, lacking confidence again. It was 2 quick goals at the end of the first half and then 1 following up very shortly after the second. And that 4th, that, sealed it completely. Cleverly says he's going to roll up his sleeves, but can he change the mentality of those players right now? And obviously we need that quality. But even Watts looked frustrated, confused, and even, if I'm honest, a bit lost at the end. So, yeah, maybe it's going to take more players and more quality to get that tide turning properly. Andy, Carl, evening to you both. Carl, you went to the game today, and I didn't get to listen to it or watch it properly. Just to give some context from my point of view tonight, I took the kids to the Fleet Air Museum in Yeovil, and I tried to watch bits of it on my phone while they were running around, but it just didn't happen. So Carl was there, though, and Andy did watch as well back here. So, yeah, Carl, give us your frustrated, disappointment, and tell us how it felt up there.
You're very lucky. I'm showing my face tonight. Distraught, tired, mentally drained. I was tempted just to say I was stuck in traffic and that I couldn't make it tonight, but before the game, feeling really confident. I think most of the fan base were feeling confident that the team I thought was a good looking one. I like the idea of having Benarous further forward. Especially after last season, the 5-0 loss, I didn't think it was going to be anywhere near that. But come 60, 70 minutes, we're thinking, hang on a minute, it's going to be another 4 or 5-0, and that's what it ended up being. First goal, really took the stuffing out of us. We thought the first kind of 30, 35 minutes we actually played okay. I mean, we were quite solid. We weren't really creating enough. I mean, Cardiff had a lot of the ball on midfield, couldn't really get on the ball at all. For Ibrahim was quite poor. He couldn't get his foot on the ball or break up play. Boateng was quiet, and he's had a good season so far. I thought they were both quite poor as a combination in there. We were lacking leadership. Just generally, I thought Cardiff were running rings around us, and no keeper in the world was going to save that first goal. And then having the sucker punch of the second goal just before half-time, which shouldn't have stood. It was a clear handball by the Cardiff defender. The referee and the linesman clearly weren't interested in giving it, which was remarkable. And that was just killed us before half-time. We came back out second half. Again, looked to try and take the game to Cardiff, but they had a couple of chances. Tolai tried his best, but on his own, I don't think it's really working for the lad. I think he needs someone up there in a 2. That's what the Port Vale fans were saying on X tonight. If you're hoping he's going to be a good player as a 1, it's not going to happen. He needs support up there, and I think that showed a lot today. But he tried. He closed down when he could. He ran after last balls, and he put himself around. Just wasn't happening. Anyway, Bali Mumba I thought struggled going forwards. He did okay defensively. I just thought all over the pitch we were just generally poor. I think that the 3rd goal just knocked the stuffing out of us, and it kind of just petered out. I think the only positive, if there was one, was probably Ashby Hammond, who kept it. Well, I say kept it respectful, but we still lost 4-0. It could have been 6 or 7. He did a couple of good saves, and there's one double save he did near the end, which was good. Yeah, I thought he was the only bright spark, and that was it, to be honest.
Yeah, sort of. It's one of those where, and I'll read out some of the comments in a second. A couple of Cardiff fans in.
I'm still stunned. There's actually still fans clapping that off. No player deserved to be clapped off that pitch today. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that says a lot, doesn't it, folks? But yeah, got a few Cardiff fans in. I'll just read out some of the comments before I come to you, Andy. So let me just scroll back a little bit here. Argo83, we don't believe we've had you in before, not in the chat anyway. So hello, good evening to you. GT's in the house. Good to see you again. Spencer's in Argo on tour. Evening, mate. Steve Vaughan is in the chat with us, part of our Block 9. Good evening, guys. What a shit show. Sorry, Sophie, cover your ears. From the Greens. Jonathan Mordical, thank you for the 3 points. Good crowd, awful team. 3K of you turning up to watch that. Yeah, and as it was last season with that extra goal, elements of deja vu, wasn't it? Marcus saying poor Carl not only went to the match, but has to relive it on the live. Marcus also, was winding him up about that in the chat. Marcus, I thought you were going to come on. I mean, if you're in the chat, you should come in.
Come on, Marcus.
Spencer saying, what a bad performance with Wyadu's 2 deflections. It's a bit of a worry. I haven't seen him in full. I just couldn't be bothered to watch it back, if I'm honest. What I saw on the highlights, Ashby Hammond did all right, but not sure. Well, Carl echoes that with his view. They're pouring in. Argo83 cleverly said they are weak-minded. That sounds very worrying. Pilgrim PE literally laying it on as it is. We are shite. Tommy E, players not good enough. Simple as that. Recruitment needs to be looked at. Change of system possibly too. Well, actually going to suggest that for the Cheltenham game towards the end as we come on to that. Why have we signed Pepple, Pure, Donkey? Strong views there. Kenny Pesser, evening Kenny, agreed Carl wasn't going to watch, but I'm only here for the grumpy loyal. Absolutely.
That's the spirit, Kenny.
Yeah, there's got
tomorrow, mate.
You got to find some positives, and if Andy's your positive, then there you go. Graham Byrne, biggest defeat of the day. I also did see Exeter 1-3-0, so that rubs salt into the wounds. There's a lot more comments coming in. I can't keep up with them. I'll come back to some more in a minute. You can see them, of course, on the screen, which allows you to see what's going on rather than us just displaying the odd ones. There was a point, actually, Andy, that I was going to pick up on that one of the Cardiff fans said. I mean, you got a Gavin Cardiff fan said was at the stadium. First goal changed the game. I could see a score draw playing out. We had actually gone for 1-1 on Thursday with our prediction on our live lounge. And also there was another one in here. Reece David Evans, that's it. He said, we lost 15 players in the summer so far and brought in 2. 8 players today came through our academy. A few of them, this is their first full season. So, yeah, correcting what I sort of said in my intro, really, when we were discussing on Thursday that they hadn't had too many changes, but clearly they have. But obviously they've managed to maintain a lot of players within still the Cardiff campus, whereas obviously we brought in a significant amount of players from the outside. And it's by now there should be, Andy, shouldn't there, a bit more gelling and understanding of how each other plays. And I use those words, in Caleb Watts' post-match, and I'll play it in a second. He was really frustrated with his own performance and trying to not adapting to the change of circumstances. But yeah, he just looked lost, as well in that post-match.
Yeah, I mean, just my reflection on the match itself is that, we for the first 40 minutes, I think we sort of we didn't sort of run over sort of Cardiff. I thought we matched them over the park. We gave them a good game. Didn't score, didn't have enough chances to score, and it was a freak goal. It was a great goal, to be fair. That started the ball rolling, and I think if it had gone in 1-0 at half time, we would have stood a chance to get back into it. But then you get that deflection, right? And I've already seen in the chats, right, on certain Facebook pages, that Werribee needs to be dropped. Why?
Yeah, go easy.
I'd rather have players like Werribee putting his body on the line to try to prevent goals. All right, deflections happen. in all walks of life. But you can't blame the player for trying, and I don't think, if I'm honest, that Hammond was at fault for any goals of the first three at least. The second one, the last one, he could have got, but I think the first three he had no chance of getting anything near it.
No, I think on Wiredo, he had a man of the match performance on Tuesday night against Swansea. And you could see he was playing with that smile on his face. Did really, really well. And I was literally, from what I could see while I was at a walk around the museum on my phone screen, it looked like he didn't really need to touch that ball for that first one, and it's almost like I suppose it's reactions at pace as well for that first or their second goal, and it was like and you could just see Hammond was going obviously one way, and it was just like, well, can't do anything about that. And you sort of say, is that a bit of nervousness and edginess, to sort of just wanting to make sure you get your head or your body to any part of a cross or a shot coming in. Yeah. And sometimes they're just not going to go for you, and they're going to go in the back of the net.
That's it. But the point is, you got to put your body on the line sometimes, and we did that on the Shuey back in the day, and we put bodies on the line and kept goals out. But you're going to get these freak incidents where you're going to get deflections, so that's what happened to Wiredu today. 2 deflections. Now, people were saying he actually headed it into his own net. Well, no, it hit him on the head. It didn't head it forcefully into the net. And it just
no, but it's all. Yeah, my point, Andy, is it almost felt he just didn't need to touch it.
Yeah. But there's some of positioning for one of the goals, though. I mean, Ibrahim could have ran out towards to block. Certainly, the last there was a third goal or the last goal. One of them, he could have ran out to block that, but he stayed put and just watched him take the shot in. It was sad because I thought, well, even at 1-0, we could have got back into the game if it had gone to 1-0 at half time. But I mean, that's sort of that freak second goal put us to the sword a bit, and there's no coming back from that. And you can see it in their faces. The heads dropped. You talked about Caleb Watts, and he sort of tried to rally a little bit. Had one shot, didn't he? I think near the end, but it just knocked the stuffing out of us at the time.
No, and one of the things of doing a live, I say so soon after the game on the same day, because obviously it was a lunchtime kickoff, is raw emotions, do come out, and everybody's sort of going to be feeling it, and there's, I just seen from, let me just find the comment, PAFC King, I think it was, saying maybe a change of manager and questioning Cleverley's ability effectively. I think this is where we'll come on to it in a minute. The 3 at the back. When we had James on from the Watford way, Cleverley started their first season doing really, really well with a back 3. Had to change it to a back 4 because of recruitment and what he was instructed, and then their season fell apart. The thing that I question is if he prefers a back 3, why is he stuck with a back 4 so much? And I'm not a tactician, so that sort of, Carl, there's that question for me. Because, and is it the type of players? And obviously we've got Mitchell in now, but we always said that Poulsen plays better, in a back 3, and sort of did-ish in that game against QPR. I know it wasn't necessarily a back 3, but Benarous was playing so far forward it felt that way. What's your thoughts on
that? It's really hard to put a finger on it. I think once we see Ross coming into the side, maybe then we'll see changes of formation, but it seems very rigid at the moment. He seems reluctant to go to a back 3. Maybe that's down to not having a fully fit defensive line yet. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe when Hazard comes back, he might feel more confident going to a back 3. I don't know. I'm still deflated, mate. I can't really put my finger on what is the right formation. I think we're just lacking quality throughout the whole spine of the team at the moment until we get a fully fit squad and added quality. And I honestly don't know what our best formation is at the moment. But I think going to a back 3 might suit us in the near future. I think Mumba needs to go back to left wing back where he seems to be best. I think he's wasted when he's up in the front 3. I think he's better defensively. That might give us a bit more structure back there. But I don't know.
I think it's a simple thing of like lack of personnel at the back.
Yeah.
Pleggy out at the moment. We still wait for people to come back into the side, and Pleggy is a key player for us. And I think allowing Poulsen to go, I think he wanted to go, but allowing him to go,
he had to go
at a crucial time was like you could have stayed there and played in the back three, but it's just we haven't.
I think Mitchell, and you've got, don't forget, Ross should start on Tuesday against Cheltenham. Just picking up on PAFC Kings, sticking to his point on cleverly is stuck in his ways and stubborn like Rooney was. Can't see us improving unless a change in manager. But then Graham Byrne made the valid point that you can change a manager, but you still got those same players. That is ultimately, something that I don't understand. And the comment earlier, trying to keep up with them is difficult, even on the view that I've got. But someone mentioned about, obviously, Amiechi. Yes, I forgot to touch upon that just after my intro. But he's now picked up an injury and he's going to be out. He's going to need surgery, so he's going to be out until after Christmas. It's almost like we must be paying rent on the beds in the Argyle ward at Derriford because we just can't afford to leave those assets burning money without putting someone in them. Of course not. But yeah, the whole conditioning coach, as someone has just mentioned just now, I'm trying to find that comment. There's that. And yeah, because why are we picking up all these injuries? Yes, we've got Patterson due back on Tuesday, who I think will be a massive game changer. Edwards, for me, we'll come on to the individual player scores in a minute, which is interesting on some in FOTMob. But it's like, why are we, continuing to pick up these issues, and to have two players needing surgery?
What on earth's going on in training for him to pick up such an injury that it needs surgery? I mean, he's not just tripped over his own feet. Someone must have gone into him pretty hard in training for him to need surgery. You can't just fall over or pull a muscle and need surgery, surely. Unless
for that.
Unless we're going in, unless we're having really strong intensity in training, which, if we weren't having intensive training, then it would be, we're not doing enough in training. It's getting that happy medium of how much do you push yourself in training without overdoing the players. Have we got the right medical team to treat players after training? There's so many things to look at.
Comment about Hazard. We desperately need Hazard back. I don't think you can lay the blame at Hammond's feet today.
It's not about the keeper. It's more than the keeper.
The first one was a worldie, and the other two were deflections. I mean, you might have got something on the last goal, but it was a slippery ball,
Yeah, well, I'm going to jump in and out of the comments a little bit more because there's some interesting thoughts in there. But Marcus said, I got it in my notes, Tegan Finn wasn't in the squad. I know his dad sometimes tunes in. So hopefully there's nothing there more than he just wasn't selected. But, I expect to see him back on Tuesday. But that was a surprise.
And we don't know about Aseni yet either, do we? I haven't seen anything on X or anything regarding him. Is he injured
only
as well?
Warm-up, only his pre-game warm-up on Saturday, obviously before kickoff, wasn't involved. So hopefully there's not too much going on there. Tommy saying torn hamstring. Who's that? Is that Aseni or was that?
No, I think he means Amici.
Right. Oh, Amici, sorry. Right, okay. Well, there you go then. So thank you for that, Andy. So, and also, as Spencer's sort of chasing me in the chat for, good to see you though, always, Spencer, young Spencer. Should we drop Hammond and put Zach Baker in? I just don't respect. I said this the other day to Zach Baker. I don't think there's maybe that confidence there. And I think when Hazard comes back, whether or not they're still trying to get another goalie potentially in the loan window, I think Zach will go out on loan. But yeah, it is.
I think Zach needs a game on Tuesday night. I think the Paint Pot Trophy is a perfect opportunity to give him some first team exposure. I think it's pointless playing Ashby Hammond on Tuesday.
The trouble is, guys, everyone's looking for a scapegoat, okay? So everyone's looking at Hammond conceding 4 goals. He couldn't do anything about that. Everyone's looking at Weirdo saying, he scored more own goals than anything. He can't help that. He's putting his body on the line. So let's stop scapegoating people and just get support in the team. That's what it's about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think people are going to have these raw emotions. I mean, I've got Harvey England's clip from his YouTube video. I'll play it a little bit later as well. And even he said to us in our chat, he's just like, it just was raw emotion, and he's going to agree with a lot of the comments coming on here. Kenny saying Hammond's, I'm not Hammond's biggest fan, but he was not at fault today. Those two,
spot on,
failed to do their job. Boateng and Ibrahim partnership didn't work. So Boateng, I do have my slide deck, by the way, folks, but it's just, let me just click on it a second because I want to come. Obviously, there's a
You don't
score.
want to see that bit.
Yeah, these are the ratings. But Boateng was given the captain's armband today, and
That's a strange one for me.
yeah, and I asked, well, because he's been the most consistent player.
Yeah,
so
but when you got a leader like Mitchell in defence, or even Wiredu, who was captain for Fleetwood, giving it to Boateng's a slightly odd one because he's quite a quiet player.
Yeah, but so, and I don't disagree. Although he's been the most consistent performing player of the season so far.
Yeah,
and for me, as soon as I saw that, it made me think back to when Whitaker was given the armband, and then he fell off a cliff. It's almost like there's certain players that are clear leaders, and I don't see Boateng in training, but in games like you said, Carl, he's there and he's doing his job. But you want someone like Mitchell, who over the 2 games he's started in, or the 3, sorry, with the cup game, you can see his leadership skills, his experience, and organising everybody. So I did feel that was a bit strange, to be honest. And is that a reflective of why he's been given a 5.7 on the for those that are listening post on the FOTMob rating? So, yeah, I mean, Andy, how did you see that with Boateng getting the armband?
I'm not sure it was the right choice, really. I don't know who else you'd give it to. If anyone, I'd give it to Wiredu.
Wiredu?
Yeah, he seems to have a bit of leadership about him.
Well, he was captain, if I recall, wasn't he?
He was captain.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And he knows how to manage players. But you're sort of, he's the only one that sort of, for me, put himself on the line today. And yeah, he's disappointed he scored 2 own goals. Mumba, what's Mumba doing what's the high score there? 6.
Yeah, so Mumba's got the top score of 8.
Why?
Now, there was mixed in our WhatsApp group. Carl, I think it was you and a couple of others said that he had an awful game. And then Herbie, who can't also be on tonight, I think they're all just made excuses, to be honest. No, they haven't. Gavin's celebrating. Oh, by the way, happy birthday to Gavin.
Happy birthday, Gav. Yeah.
And the reason he's not with us tonight is because he stayed up in Cardiff and he's out with his dear wife Sian having a birthday meal. He said he might come on after 9, but you don't need.
He's also 1 grand lighter apparently.
Oh, is he? That'll be because going out and doing the shopping, Sian. Will I go and enjoy the football? Yeah. So that's why you've got the 3 of us. So I thought we might have a bit more in, but we don't. So I'm just going to go straight into the comments. Actually, again, Dave Searle saying, "Can someone point out any quality we've signed?" I think this is, I'm struggling to see any. He said, I think this is the point, isn't it? A few have made about the sort of the recruitment side. Yes, we had those 4 5 signings within a few weeks of each other, but I think at least 3 of them were free, or 4 of them were free transfers, and then there was nothing really serious, and then you're sort of thinking to yourself, what's going on? And other clubs, yes, have signed players, but it's also been difficult transfer windows for a number of clubs. So yeah, you do have to question it when Cleverly is saying for the 2nd, if not 3rd time, quality, that's starting to say a lot, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, look at these scores. We've already spoken about Hammond. He got 5.1 on FOTMob for
Harsh.
Those listening post. So I'll go top down then next. Sukes on 5.5. How was his performance, Carl, overall?
Pretty poor. I think the only one to come out of any credit on the back line was probably, like I said, the goalkeeper. Wiredu tried, but I think he's just had awful luck in recent games. I mean, like Andy said, he's putting his body on the line and it's just clipped him.
Yeah,
there's not much you can do. If he didn't dive in or put his body on the line, it would be like, well, why is he stood there? Why has he not put his body on the line? So you can't have it both ways, you know. So just had a horrible run of luck at the moment.
Just back again on why I do, Carl. Yeah. So someone said in the comments earlier that
he's not a centre back. He's not a centre back.
No. But what's interesting is how much praise he was given on Tuesday.
But yeah, but that's in a cup competition where it doesn't really matter. We didn't have a massive away following. We didn't have that pressure of we've got 3,000 fans here backing us.
Potentially,
when there's nothing on us to perform, we seem to perform better.
Yeah, well, Cleverly's got no option at the minute. Has to play in there because he's got no. What's saying earlier on is there's no personnel there to cover it.
Yeah, so
like Mackenzie's out. We've got players in that back 4 who aren't playing at the moment.
it's almost hence the 3 at the back suggestion going forward. So just go back. We've done enough, I think, on Waidu, bless him. Mitchell, overall, just a disappointing. I mean, he's played 3 straight games now, hasn't he? One as a sub, I think, wasn't it on Tuesday night? But did he just look off today then?
We just looked off all over the pitch. It
Yeah,
wasn't. I don't think it's just individuals. I think as a team we were just all over. Like I said, Ashby Hammond, the only one that deserves any credit for me to try and keep the score down to 4-0. I think everyone had a poor game. I mean, Tolai did his best on his own. Like I said earlier, I don't think he can play up there on his own.
Sorry, what did you call him?
He had no support from Belarus. Number was dire. Watts didn't give him that much support either, and he was not running like a headless chicken up there, putting his body on the line when he could, running down lost causes. Again, like I said, he's not had a great performance, but at least he tried. But yeah, there's not much really to give praise about.
No. Oh, here's an interesting one from just a Jana. Why did, and even a mate, even to those that do come in regular as well, for those that have missed, why did Tulai start taking the corners in the second half? We needed him in the box. That's a strange decision, isn't it?
There's quite a few fans around us suggesting why that happened. It was quite an odd decision. I don't know why he decided to start taking corners.
You know what I mean? Pepper's not the right player. He's not the right player. He's rubbish. Sorry.
You really do have to question that, as to why then is your 1.2 million sign-in striker then going out and taking corners. I could see from the odd clip, and also as I saw the notifications in the WhatsApp group, that even Soranola's balls into the box, again, man of the match, brilliant performance on Tuesday, then just looked like he kept overhitting them in the game today.
Yeah, lots of his crosses into the box were overhit or nowhere near a player. Again, like I say, Tuesday night was a nothing game. He had no pressure. People stepped up on the plate. And when you've got 3,000 away fans behind you, they just seem to crumble every time we have a big or a large away following. We just don't seem to perform. It's the same every time. But when we take 600-700 away from home on a Tuesday night somewhere, we seem to not have that pressure. We kind of play with more freedom. But yeah, I think they were just out there scared, lost, lacking leadership. Even when Edwards came on, I don't think nothing changed. It kind of got worse when Edwards came on. Yeah. For me, obviously, he's not match fit yet. For me, his legs have severely gone this last 12 months, and I think it'll probably be his last season with us, if I'm totally honest.
Nicky saying, fans here are saying no one wants to take a corner. Sums up the game, to be honest, if people don't want to do the basics. Was that Nicky with you in the photo, Carl?
Yeah, mate, she came up with me.
Yeah, so
it's generally like set pieces, isn't it, though, guys? How many times do we waste set pieces?
Well, no coach.
Free kicks.
We don't have
that free kick they try to take quickly, went out of play. It's like,
but even the throw-ins today, Such wasn't throwing them in long. There were lots of short balls, and then we didn't get the balls into the box quick enough, and it was just all poor, all just generally poor.
We looked at panic, so like deer in headlights again, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's that. I mean, Cardiff put us to the sword today, and they put us to the sword by just letting us try to play headless chicken football and just letting us run around them.
And there's a chance in the first half when Belarus broke clear, and he had ample time to get the ball in, and he cut back and he passed it back, and we lost it. And it's just like, as soon as you get the opportunity, just get the ball into the box. But we just seem to be scared or not quick enough to play on the front foot. It's worrying.
There's a few comments about Cleverley as well. I mean,
yeah, just literally
what can Cleverley do? Because he's inherited a team that the players that we bought in early on in the season weren't his select players.
No.
I don't think they were his players. So the ones he's only going to have credit to are like Tolai and the recent sort of loan signings as well.
He needs to be backed in the next 48 hours. Otherwise, it's going to be a long struggle until we get to January.
Well, so
the window can't come along quick enough.
No, so I'm gonna actually bring a bit more upon Cleverley. So it was Neil whose comment I saw saying genuine question. When do we start? I know PFC King mentioned it as well, but Neil PFC said genuine question. When do we start questioning Clevs? Can't see much against Stockport and Luton. Could be 9 games and 1 win. I think there's the whole, yes, it's a lot of player changes and this, that and the other. And you all want to back the manager. The same with Rooney, even though we were all a bit like there's that starstruck and confusion as to how on earth and why has Rooney come to the club. Cleverley's not not silly, and he's experienced equally. He's gone through and did well at Watford Youth and started off well. I know, as alluded to James earlier from the Watford Way, when we had him on, that he really just wasn't given that time and had to adapt to a style that he didn't want to play. But you do know that he's seeing this with Simon as a long-term project. If that long-term project then is, well, look, we haven't got the cash, and I know someone mentioned earlier about the infrastructure question again over brick fields. I don't want to dance around that, but I'm acknowledging the point. But it's one of those where maybe it is going to be tough before it sort of gets better. Maybe we are going to be fighting to stay in the league this season, or certainly it's not going to be any more than mid-table sort of stuff.
I'll take your hand off of that right now.
Yeah, you would do, yeah. And so I think it's absolutely right to ask a few more sort of difficult questions to Cleverley. He came in, and let's not forget, and he brought in 2 of his own backroom staff. So he didn't come in with sort of the support lacking there. It is still a bit early on, but he's got one of the worst starting records, in a very, very long time. And in a minute, he's going to hold that record if we're not careful. And so it really is just the way the players' heads do drop, and that mentality where we've seen them play really well, and we've seen those spells. So like you both said, maybe in those cup games, the pressure is different. So they play and react different. So there is signs there. But Blackpool, as I alluded to, and we discussed last week, we got lucky really, because Blackpool didn't have their starting players up front, and also they were crap in front of goal. Whereas we missed one gilt edge opportunity, which we should have hit away, and then obviously Boateng came out in the second half and scored an absolutely cracking goal. And that first goal again does make a big difference, doesn't it? But yeah, I think you've got to sort of say Cleverley needs to sort of sit back, and maybe this tactical change and going with 3 at the back now with the defense that he's got could be something that makes a huge difference. Carl, we can't ignore it, and I don't want to pinpoint anybody out, but it will be wrong to not say that actually, yes, you have to sort of ask a little bit of the question there as to what could be going on within the training that might be something he needs to reflect on a bit more.
Yeah, you can. I don't think we're at that stage where it's Cleverley out, Cleverley this, Cleverley that. It's been 6 games. I think after 12, 15 games, we'll have a picture of where we're going to be this season, where we think we are as a club with Cleverley as manager as well. He's just come in. I don't know whether he's been fed this whole top 6 budget thing. He was promised, a decent budget to bring players in, and that really hasn't happened, really, has it? I think him coming out in the press and saying he wants a small squad's come back and bite him on the ass, because with our injuries and the lack of quality we've got, that's obviously evident. A small squad is going to absolutely kill us this season.
Carl, just on that point, is there an element in that sort of says the expectation was that actually the budget, for whatever circumstances around it, wasn't actually going to be decent, and that was clearly told to Tom, and then hence that comment coming out to almost sort of say, well, we're going to be happy with this, and then suddenly, as it happens, you lose a few players. In a business, if you lose some key employees, you need to, for a long term, you need to do something about it, don't you? And suddenly then it's like, the small squad isn't working. Guys, we're going to need you. We're going to need to spend something now. I don't know, you didn't want to. But then the window isn't completely shut yet. Obviously, It closes on Monday. And there's still 4 loan signings, because Mitchell's a loan, isn't he? And until it's close, then I'll reserve full judgment in my opinion.
I think by the end of play on Monday, we'll know what we've got until January, and what needs to be done later on in the window in January. But let's hope. I think David Fox was wrong to come out and say, going down the road of not having loans might not be a good idea, and having players that want to be here on permanent contracts that could come back to bite us on the arse. Because I think we need, we've been strong with signings from other clubs the last couple of years. Under Shuey, we had lots of loan signings that were decent, and I think as we are as a club, we haven't got the big budget to go out and spend millions and millions and millions, and we're going to rely on loans. And I think Tom, with his contacts, needs to get on the phone the next day or two and really pull some rabbits out of the hat. We need some good young players. I think we've got enough youth as it is. I think we need some experience, and we need some calmer heads and someone that's got a bit of leadership, because as soon as we go 1-0 down, everyone's heads just drop completely. Yeah. And like you say earlier, I think the first goal in any game is going to be key for us this season. If we go 1-0 up, I think we've got then the mentality and the belief to hold on or push for more. But as soon as we concede, we just look dead, absolutely dead. And we've got even with Edwards on the pitch, I think we're going to struggle even with his leadership, because he's not the player he was 12, 18 months ago.
So it's a good point. I'm just going to cut in again, Carl. I'll come to Andy next as well. But just going in through the comments, Andy, Dave makes another good point. The best players recently have been loans. Neil just dropped in with it. Scary to see where we are in a matter of one season. Jamie Edwards, great surname. I'm not Welsh in any way. But I'm a Cardiff fan, he says. Was a good game today, but I don't think you guys were awful. See, interesting angle. You got into the right areas at times, just lacked the end product, but I've always liked you lot. Best of luck for the season. Thank you, and equally to yourselves. Looks like you are going to have a good one. And I think it's the end product has always been our issue. And then I got super excited. I did, when Watts took those two chances, the one disallowed, scored the other one, in that first game. Then Oseni got a couple of goals, and you thought, we got some of these guys pitting the ball away, and then Waidu with nicking one, etc. And it seems to have dried up. A few more in the comments, Andy. I want to come to your questions. Let me just scroll back. Lee PFC Newson, good to see you. These guys should manage pressure. They are professional footballers. I don't disagree, really, if I'm honest. Honestly, guys, how have we gone so downhill since Shuey left? There has to be something going on in and around the background. We've also got Andy B. The suggestions that early transfers were just free transfers is a bit harsh. Players out of... Yeah, that's fine. I'm just bringing up the points on it, because that was some of the stuff that has been put around there. Players out of contract decided to join us. Some have a big valuation and were linked with some decent clubs. There's definitely, Andy, some really good players, talents in there. We've seen those bits. It's just how we turn it around to eke that out every game and stop this negative impact coming in. Argo 83, I just can't believe they paid Poulsen $9,000 a week. The guy was awful and had 500k nearly in wages for his time at Argyle. But that's the world you're living in football now. I was reading somewhere the other day even that, if you were on $100,000 a week, sort of 10, 15 years ago, it's just totally different now, isn't it? It's the equivalent of probably closer to 200 grand now. So 9k a week when you were in the championship at the time, and bringing a player like that in, it isn't really a surprise anymore. I wasn't a fan of Rooney, just as Jana says, of his appointment, but even I knew he wasn't the issue. It was the squad, and still is the squad, not wanting to win and just strut up and pick up a pay packet as it's on a platter. And also, I'm trying to see where the comment came from. I think it was Kenny said, you also then potentially have to question David Fox's appointment, and also Tom Randall, in terms of what they're doing or trying to do with the tools that they're working with in the background as well, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about just now, and I want to just sort of address that comment about the players that we brought in early on in the season at the start of the window. Those players that we brought in weren't necessarily the players that Tom Cleverley wanted inside. He wasn't even the manager then, so he wouldn't have had those players in. So we've recruited players for who, for who's coming in.
Would have been for Muslich, wouldn't it?
But a lot of, I mean, I assuming it was Muslich, but of course Muslich did dirty. Cleverley's come in, and he's got these players who suddenly ones that he maybe didn't want to recruit, and he's had to recruit and stick with the players he's got. You can't blame him for that. I'm not sort of saying that any of the players that come in any, or bad or whatever. They're just, those are the ones that were chosen for the person that was supposed to come here for. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you can't really sort of lay any blame in recruitment in that way, because we didn't know who was going to be the manager of the club at the start of the season. Everyone was saying it was going to be Muslich, but that's history now, isn't it?
Those players, I think, would have absolutely been. They would have been on the cards in terms of options. Regardless, I think that we would have been keen to take. Yes, obviously we can find gems, as we noted that many times before. With Whitaker and Mumba. There we go. Even where they were out of favour, and we've seen some brilliant potential for some of these guys. But it's just difficult. And also, yes, as Argo83 has said, does this Tom Randall even exist?
I think that's the biggest problem, because we've heard nothing from him. We've not seen him. We've not had any interview on Argo TV, no staff profile, nothing with Chris Errington in Plymouth Live. Absolutely nothing.
But
it'd be interesting.
Carl, before with Jimmy, I know Gavin said that last time we raised this point.
But it'd be interesting to see, once the window closes a few weeks after that, whether he comes out and says anything, or if there's anything out there. It just seems very strange. We've got like a head of recruitment who has barely been at the club, hasn't said anything, hasn't kind of addressed the transfer window so far, or just given just something for the fans, just to make us kind of question his whether he's real or not.
Well, it's a
bit odd, isn't it?
It was difficult, even when I did an initial profile deck on him and David Fox at the start of the season, to find a picture of him of any sort. So I'd like to hope that Simon isn't using an AI agent, and that AI agent has been called Tom Randall.
It's all like Hong Kong Fooey, isn't it? Who is he? The mild-mannered janitor? Who is this? Let's see who this guy is.
Yeah, I want to pick up as well. Carl's got Sophia with him, and Sophie sat, as you can all see, right next to me. Voodoo. Actually, I'll go a bit further back to Mark, actually, if I can catch up before they all move. We were well in the game until the first goal, then it all went wrong, as we've said. Too many inexperienced personnel at Argyle. Voodoo hits the nail on the head, and I said this in our WhatsApp chat. I was going to sort of come to it at the end, but lads, I'm afraid there's no quick fix. We are low in quality and especially experience. Buckle up. I think if we don't see a significant improvement to come the end of November, Ninja Matt made that point. We were saying that a sort of end of October, November time will be key. I think then, you just absolutely, like Voodoo says, got to buckle up.
I don't think we're going to be in a relegation struggle. I think we're going to struggle this season. I don't think we're going to be anywhere near the top six or even top half. I think this will be a season of transition. I think kind of lower mid-table. I think this is probably where we'll finish on current evidence and what we've got quality-wise. And I think at the moment, I'll bite your hands off of that. I think we need stability. We just need a stress-free season. Not really getting that so far, but you know what I mean. We just need a season where a manager's here for a whole season.
Things are settled.
A settled squad. We just need.
It's going to be a rebuild, and it's going to be a rebuild.
It's a rebuild,
and right through the spine as well. People have said that the spine is very weak. Yes, it is weak. Yeah, we had a really strong spine last season.
Would you be out?
This season, it's just like disjointed, and this is why we're losing games. And because people have been, I think someone said people are being played out of position, and they are being played out of position.
Yeah, I'm going to go back in the comments again. Carl just muted you while you were. Sophia, we're having a disagreement there. Bless it. Lee, PFC Newson, hang on, let me just bring it up on the main screen. So he said just earlier, does TC have a real say as a head coach when you have a head of recruitment and director of football site? I'll hold it a second. Pilgrim PT counteracting that with cleverly said he was on board with most of these early signings. Also said it again today with his interview with Warnock. I only saw the clip on that. Which I thought was brilliant. Warnock come down and try and give you a bit of something to cheer up. So I haven't seen the whole of that clip, but that is out there for those that want to know. The interesting thing with Lee's comment, and I think I brought it up on here before, definitely discussed it in our chat together, is Simon has said, and I think it was in the fans forum he sort of said it, that they wanted to build around what they want to, like, it's not the head coach that dictates everything. It is they decide who the director of football is, or head of football ops, recruitment, this, that, and the other. And the coach is just there to manage the football team day to day or coach them. And obviously cleverly got his 2 assistants in, which wasn't something that they would normally agree to. So there's part of me that doesn't disagree with Neil. Tottenham's always going to say, and some of those players, yes, because we have seen potential in them, but you do sort of wonder that in the background, and is there that sort of back and forth? But that would have been, I think, made clear to Tom in the interview process of that's how we work. And at the end of the day, I think it's one of those where Tom would have accepted that coming down, but probably also wouldn't have clearly expected the challenge to be so difficult. But as he said in his post-match presser and alluded to, Carl, didn't he, that he's going to roll his sleeves up and he wants to get it sorted out. Voodoo said, I just sent a tweet to back up Carl. What else have we got going on here? There's so many comments. It's really good to see them, guys. Stephen Cooper, still need you to email me, and I have got the goods. I've also got something else that I thought you might be interested in as the summer months come to an end, clearly, today and yesterday. He said 6 games, guys. Don't panic. I'm sure we'll bring 3 in by Monday. Andy B again saying, I think we need to accept this is a transitional season. Absolutely. Going for loans now rather than rushing into panic buys would make sense. Matty H, even in the recruitment is the problem. It's always been the problem. But it hasn't. Because obviously, if you look at Katic, if you look at
of course,
Talavirov, if you look at
we didn't have that issue in our championship winning season under Shuey, did we? Recruitment was spot on.
No, exactly. So look, I mean, I'm conscious. I said to
location's been the issue with signing players, but I wouldn't say recruitment's been the problem. There's a more of an umbrella thing for that, isn't it? Recruitment's not just.
I think it is. I'll be honest. I was sort of hoping it would have been a much stronger start to the season. I said in our pre-season kickoff that got to carry the chance to don't want to say it's probably one of the easiest seasons to try and get promoted. It's the wrong way of putting it.
Yeah.
You've lost your Wrexhams, your Birmingham's went up, the big spenders. I know Huddersfield have got that billionaire owner, but it's probably a stronger season as for any team to surprise in the league than ever before. But clearly, just that transition for us, losing the players, trying to get all that settled, those injuries again, it is going to be and I've accepted it's going to be tough. So I'm not getting myself worked up. I'm annoyed, but I'm not letting it get to me like I would let it do before. Stephen Cooper saying, look at Sheffield United. They are going through the same as us. Another example. I'm going to play the 2 clips from Argyle TV that were shared on socials for Caleb Watts and then Tom Cleverley. And then I will also play, after we've just discussed those 2, Harvey.
Do you think the problem with Caleb Watts is he needs to actually wear his glasses during the game?
Or contacts.
I'm sure he does.
Some of his passes were quite.
You're discrediting one of our most consistent and better performing players of the season so far. I won't have it, Mr. Barnard. Right. Anyway,
I think when it's not going your way, you got to roll your sleeves up and fight and win the game in a different way. And I think me especially, that's something I need to be better at when potentially passes aren't, or my first touch isn't going where I want it to. At that point in the game, I've got to turn into a different mode and try and battle my way through. And I don't think any of us done that really enough today. The goals are 2 deflections and a worldie, and then it's so again, I don't want to form too many opinions until I've watched it back. But
so Andy, you're the resident counsellor. How do you? I said obviously frustrated with the team's performance, his own performance, and I said he looked obviously also a little bit lost. You could see that at the end there where he was going, look, until I see it back, because you can see in his head from my point of view that he's just like, what has gone on again? Like, why has that happened again?
I just think they're trying too hard, mate. They just need to concentrate on what they're doing, and they're trying too hard. They're taking the quick free kicks. All this distribution going wayward and passing going wayward. When Mumba was doing that again today, his passing was wayward. It was just giving away possession. They've got to get their head straight for this. And the only way you're going to do that is to actually focus on your game, to focus on your strengths rather than the weaknesses. because that's what's happening. They go goal down, and you got this all of a sudden everyone's heads dropping, and who's responsible for that, and the name blame starts to go on. So you just got to get your head around it and say, well, come on, let's get up and get on with it. It's almost like, and I hate saying it in my own practice, like man up. You've got to sort of dust yourself down and try to get back into the game. And I think, say 1-0, if it was 1-0 at half time, we would have got back into that game. But we went 2-0 down, and that was it.
Yeah, just two quick goals, wasn't it? And Dave, I absolutely agree. Dave in the comments saying, you say transitional season, but that wasn't what we were expecting. Top 6 budget, bigger than last time in League One. Club said promotion was the target. No, that's why I was looking forward to the season, Dave. That's the point I was trying to make. But I think now the reality is for me that actually we've been more disrupted than we're realizing. And some of those comments, if I recall, were made before, certain players, and was it even before music selection, or was it after that? But yes, it's just, I'm accepting that it's clearly more difficult and more challenging than obviously they led us to believe. And like I said, until the window's done, then we'll see, because there's a lot of, I think, clubs waiting on options on players from offers on players until the last minute. And it could be. I
also think it's evident now that I still believe we're still another striker short. So I just worry.
Yeah.
If Tolai gets injured, we are really struggling, because I think Peppel's miles off it. I think we've seen enough from Aseni to do okay, but I still think Tolai needs a strike partner or a decent 10 behind him, because I think he's going to struggle up there on his own.
Yeah, Argyle 83's have made, Mike. Sorry, Mike.
No, go on.
Argyle 83 made a good point there about the players being under pressure. And do you not think that sometimes as supporters, our expectations, especially if you're coming down from the Championship, everyone was sort of thinking before the season started, we've got Tom Cleverley, brilliant, we're going to go straight back up again. Yeah. And that's like heaping pressure on players who are young and inexperienced, as you said, Totally right.
Yeah, I agree. But I just read Matty H's comment there. So I did see another one.
That one from Petey was quite interesting.
Yeah, that's thank you. Yeah, because I replied in the chat, and so thank you, Carl, for reminding me of that. So Pilgrim Petey said Cleverley and Warnock on that Sky Sports interview both agreed that too much data goes into signing new players. Cleverley said he would rather be more hands-on. I think that's telling. I literally don't know this sort of stuff. So do we have scouts? Have we got any scouts?
I'd imagine so. Well, you'd hope so, being a professional football club, and especially in League One, that we'd have scouts.
You'd hope to think so, Carl.
You'd hope to think so.
Yeah. If anybody knows, then put it in the chat. But yeah, I'm a big fan of data. For those that have watched the show long enough, it's been a thing that I've grown up with in my career for a long time. So I do understand the use of data, but day to day and all the sort of times where I see situations, you use data to help you make an informed decision. Don't use it to just trust that that's the overriding decision you should make, because that for me is where you can go wrong. And the whole Rooney questioning on that would be a good example of it.
Didn't Rooney also say that he wasn't massive on data as well?
Possibly.
I think I heard him say that. So it seems to be like the modern way forward of coaches. They don't seem to be keen on data. I mean, what did we do before data? 10 years ago, you had scouts that went out and looked at players. Do we actually do that now?
So the data,
on data.
Yeah,
you have the data. You've got your list of top targets. Do we then go out and then scout them, or do we just pluck them out of the data list and just sign them? They must get looked at, surely.
No, so that goes back to my point. You would target the players with the data that you think suit what you're looking for, and then you would look to use your scouts or hire some scouts, because don't put them on the books if you don't need to, or you're not using them as much. So save that, and then bring people in on a consultant basis, and then they could go out and look at those players in those other clubs. And that's where I'm not 100% sure what we do in that background. So I'd love to know, or if anybody knows that, to explain it. But yeah, this is where you got to be careful. And Dave's point, a couple more comments again, I think is really apt as well. I mean, you are signing for a club that was touting and wanting promotion. Is that pressure, or is that just something is that something as a player you want? I totally agree. You would think if you've got a choice, to go to a club that is touting, we're going to have the budget, we're going to want to be at the top, they're fighting for promotion again, there's a chance this club could go straight back into the Championship. That is going to be enticing, isn't it? But clearly some of the players we've been rumoured to be linked with at times haven't necessarily seen it that way. But yeah, I think it's a valid point. Argo83, this is a great podcast. Thank you very much for that. It's much more professional than, I'm not going to mention that because we don't disrespect any other pods, but as you're alluding to, you're now banned from for having my honest opinions. So thank you for the subscription. Each pod is different and does their own thing. So we're just glad coming in, after those two, that we've got to where we are and that all of you enjoy watching in. So, and we try and be professional and balanced as much as we can, which is why you might have noticed that I'm changing the tone a little bit and also putting those challenging questions to the guys. Dave Cherno Samba got signed by a club because he had a good rating on Football Manager. Pilgrim Pete also adding to that interview saying Warnock said he had a disagreement with his recruitment team once because they wanted to sign a player, but after watching him for 5 minutes, Warnock said he couldn't defend. I mean,
that wasn't Victor Paulson.
Well, and a comment as well, Mike, from Kenny earlier on about bringing in someone like a Sombolongo, what it was called, I can't pronounce his name. Him to mentor some of the younger players like Aseni, and that's a great idea. You bring an experienced head in to sort of get alongside these youngsters and sort of show them the game. It's a great idea, someone like that come in.
Good point.
Didn't notice it, mate.
Mark is saying, I doubt we have scouts. It costs too much. At Folkestone Park is more important. Maybe that's where they'll end up sleeping in a minute. Just a Jana saying earlier, if we are paying Championship prices, then why can't we expect Championship quality football? I think there's an element of, yes, the season ticket, just as Jana's referring to, is high. And yes, okay, there's a lot of us that can afford to pay that and a lot of people that would like to get in there and be able to have those things.
Don't forget, we need to break even this season. So
yeah, well, because as Gavin and I put across, you want to be very careful with wanting to just assume that making a loss is a good thing. So
we get a good cup run again. Don't worry.
I understand the points there. I know Spencer. He's asked me again. Are you going Cheltenham? I will be. I think I'm going with Gavin again, but I've got to check that later. But I will go either way. So I don't know yet, mate, if I'll be in the block. But Andy, are you going Tuesday night regardless?
No.
All right. Okay. So then there'll be empty spots. So if you want to see,
I'm doing my hair on Tuesday
to sit in our seats and go and do it.
I'm washing my hair actually.
Yeah,
that's the same as Carl.
So Stephen Cooper said agents are on the cheap now. There's lots of free players with 2 days to go. That's why I think it will be interesting, and I want to reserve full judgment before we get to the end. So I'm just going to check it. This hour that I spent pulling this presentation together, that we've just rightly so parked, to be honest, and I'm not fussed by that. I won't even bother going back to the team performances. We've sort of discussed this in parts. I agreed, and I put it in there about a striker. Actually, I changed the title that the AI put in there, and the description at least didn't change the title. But yeah, the striker up front, I think we definitely need another one. I said it on, I think it was Thursday and even Saturday show, because we'll end up in this situation where, like Hardy, if Talai gets an injury, and as Carl said himself earlier, then you're going to be stuffed again, aren't you? Because Aseni, yes, he's scored goals, but then he's obviously got a niggle, and Pepple isn't quite yet, sort of being able to show himself. So, Andy, I mean, your thoughts on that? Do you agree as well that another striker is almost got to be a must?
Yeah, definitely. You can't let all the sort of pressure on one pair of shoulders. I know Tolai is probably the better of the three up front. Pepple, Barndor and Banjos. I mean, I know he has scored one, but he's not the article, is he? Aseni's going to give a bit more, I think, with his direct running. And I think I make sure when he's fit again, he can sort of threaten in that area as well. He scored a couple of goals this season already. So yeah, we do need another striker is the answer, short answer.
Yeah, I think, and Nikki, just bringing a comment up, it's still on the screen on the overlay actually, but you could see Patterson at QPR getting to the players and talking to them while playing. We need him back on the pitch. So the midfield creativity, which is the next point on this slide, Nikki, you literally have nailed it, because in the hospitality on Saturday against Blackpool, Patterson was the guest of honour to speak before kickoff, and he said about Gary Sawyer asked him certain questions, and some of those were about how do you help the youngsters, and get over this mental issue. And he said, yeah, he's had a few contact him, speak to him, and he's gone through that experience. When he played against QPR, like Nicky said, he was brilliant. The link up with Benarouz, with himself, and Hatch was just brilliant to watch, as it was, Souks and Finn and that on the right hand side, etc. So I'm really hoping that he can come back and he can get through that game without any issues, and actually bring some creativity, stability, and a head on good shoulders in midfield. But there's probably still a shout, Carl, that another midfielder, and we were touted with one from United recently. But would you agree we got to strengthen up still there?
Oh God, yeah, we're severely lacking in midfield. I know we said before the season starts, our Wiradou and Ibrahim is an upgrade on Randall and JB or whatever. I think the biggest miss this season is probably someone like Jordan Houghton. I think he's severely missed in that midfield. He would dictate play. He's that calm head when you need it. He was a leader. We need that type of midfielder in there. Someone that's got the experience, the know-how, the leadership, a voice. When you're losing, has got a calm head, can rally around the younger players. I think if we bring in another young player, I think it's just going to be more of the same. We need some experience in there. Again, we've been linked with that Derby chap, haven't we? Again, hasn't come with a glowing record from Derby fans. Very much like Forshaw when we shipped Forshaw out. We need some quality from somewhere up front in the midfield. I don't think we need any more defenders. I think once Ross is fit and Hazard's back, Mackenzie's almost back. Again, same with Patterson. I think once he's fit, he was the signing I was most looking forward to in the summer coming in.
Yeah.
He did show what he was about in that QPR game. It's just such a shame he got injured. I think once he's fit, I think we'll see a bit more attacking threat and dynamism up front. But yeah, Tolai does need a partner, and he does need help up there, because I just fear and worry that if he does pick up a niggle as well, which is possible, then we're going to be in shit streak, and we can't win games if we can't score goals. So
yeah. So back to the comments. Tycho, good evening. Isn't Adam Forshaw hosting this podcast?
It's Jeremy Kyle.
Hey,
Milky Bar
calm down. The better looking Adam Forshaw. Argyle 83, Houghton was class for Argyle. Now at Stevenage, still playing class.
Stevenage is second as well, aren't they?
Yeah, Mark, who's put a few comments in, regularly joins us. Evening, Mark. Talai had no service today, not uncommon, and was asking for the ball when in good positions, but no one passed to him. No surprises that we didn't score. Is that how you saw it in parts, Carl, out there? Was he getting into those areas, or Andy, when you were watching, was he getting into areas to create opportunities for?
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was generally up there, and he's on his own up there. And we touched on earlier on that he can't play as a lone player up there. Port Vale fans have said that. He needs to have a pair up there. So you've got to go, I don't know, 4-4-2 if you have to. But he wasn't getting the service today, and I felt for him really. He had that one chance where he flicked the ball over the top of the keeper, and it just wouldn't fall for him, and it was cleared. But apart from that, he was doing it on his own.
I just showed.
As I said earlier, he was the only one that was trying. He was closing down. He was running around, looking like he was interested. He wanted to try and impress and get himself on the ball. Like, he had no service. That was the problem. He had no strike partner to help him to close down spaces. And I think there's one ball in the first half. I can't remember who played it now, but he took it over his shoulder, chested it down. Really unlucky with his shot, but. He looks like he's going to be a good player for us. He just needs service, and he needs a strike partner. So I don't think it's going to work as a one. Or if you're going to play three up the front, then the two either side really need to get closer to him and give him proper service.
You need Watson that 10 role, don't you? Playing in that 10 role.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pinned Matty H's comment on the screen while you were talking there, not to forget it. So, we sort of said about how poor Carl, you said Souk's throw-ins were today. I noted the crosses into the box didn't look great. We also highlighted, or you did for me and everybody that also saw it as well, that Tilai, or didn't see the game, sorry, that Tilai was taking corners as well, which was a worry. But Matty H says, who should be taking the set pieces, guys? It's been a weak point. Well, a coach, you got to wonder why we're not looking at a coach coming in for this when it has been a problem. And it did get better under, mate, I forget his name. Sorry, while he was there. But yeah, I mean, Andy, that it is an issue, isn't it? I mean, Souk's has got some great throws, which is brilliant if you've got 6'5" strikers or big people in the box. And I think the only tall person who had a header, I think I did catch that, a header at goal was Mitchell in the game. But he's, I think, is he just over 6 foot or just about 6 foot? But those long throws are no good if you're up against big, tall defensive teams.
And I'll probably get pelters for this from Kenny Pester, probably, and Ray Clark, saying I'd say Belarus should take the set pieces because he's got a good left foot. He put the ball in for one of the goals. I forget which game it was now, but you put it into the back post. We scored from it. So
that was a QPR game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Oseni, where he literally managed to get his leg up really high and knock it into the side of the net.
I mean, he can whip the ball in there, and he's got pace. And I think we're playing him in a false position at the minute. He should be playing further up the field.
Yeah,
as he was today. He did look slightly better. Set pieces is a problem. I think we don't seem to capitalise on Such's throw-ins. I think we did a bit better under Muslic with his throw-ins, but he seems to we got, like you said, Mike, we got no kind of height or anyone really wanting to get their head on the ball when those balls come in. And if you're up against mountains of defenders like most teams have, they seem to win it every single time. I think
go on.
I think for corners, probably Amici's probably our best option, but now he's injured. Maybe Pato, when he gets fit, maybe he could be that one that does the corners and free kicks. But we've got no obvious free kick taker anymore, or corner kick taker. Obviously, Randall was last season, but his corners were pretty poor.
Well,
but we don't have anyone out there screaming out that's
no. Well, I also want to echo Dave's point because I was just about to say it while I was waiting for you to finish a piece there on that. You had Katic and Talavirov who are also strong and aggressive, in the box. And Peppel's the one that looks the most physical out of everybody.
He can't jump, though.
No. Dave So basically saying constantly playing teams that look bigger and stronger. That was the case in the Championship. Pilgrim Petey with an earlier comment, not the one he's just put in, but saying, do we loan out Hatch, Robertson, and Izaka? I think you'll see all that going on as this window. And is that so? The main transfer window shuts on Monday. The loan one, does that run on for a bit longer, or is it the same?
No,
I don't know. Surely, if the window closes, that window closes.
Yeah, possibly.
After that.
Yeah, that's fine then. So I think
we need those players there. For the time being, we need those players there.
It's a lot to do in 48 hours.
Yeah, that was my point, Andy. Absolutely, is that you're not going to want to even look to give them a leash anywhere else until you can sort out your own issues. Nicky Ward saying we've seen that Sorinola can take corners. We saw it at Man City. He could also cross the ball in on Tuesday night, but can't then.
His set pieces today were awful.
Yeah,
Sorinola's set pieces today were awful.
Yeah, Matty agreeing with Dave's point as well. Just a Jana, when in the box as well, they let the opposition dominate, and 9 out of 10 let them get in front of them, giving control to the opponents. Also, I didn't watch this game properly to see it, but we also tend to not leave anybody out when we're defending, possibly because of the nerves of not wanting to concede. So if the ball comes out, you don't have that attacking threat to counter. In doing that, again, that's my non-tactical analysis of it all. Just a Jana, that's the one I just read out as the comments have moved in. Kenny's come in with no transfers and loans. It all closes on Monday. I think we can still sign free agents out. Well, yeah, absolutely, because they're out of contract. That's a good point to note. What else have we got? Argo 83. I wonder if Galloway will take sour grapes or salve some grapes. Sorry, in Derriford. Savici.
Next to him.
Yeah, exactly. And Mark just putting in there, need an Alfie May type to feed to lie. Pressure will be
Callum Wright.
Callum Wright, absolutely right, Mark. 100%, mate.
So
right.
Sort of Carl and I, before we knew Andy was definitely going to join us or not tonight, said if we can get through half an hour, 40 minutes will be good with just the two of us. We are well over an hour and 10 minutes in, because there's a lot of you in tonight, and that makes it worth sticking around. And the comments have been brilliant on the engagement there. So Callum Wright, yeah, Mark saying as well, Matty H, is there a genuine chance TC could walk? Not if you... Well, if he keeps losing and then feels himself that maybe he's part of the problem, maybe he might. But I just, Matty, but I don't know. And Carl said, actually, I haven't played it yet. Let me play his post-match.
Tom, that's a tough one to take today.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels a sense of 2 steps forward, 3 back, and we need to stay together. We need to push on now and take 2 steps forward next week, and then after we do that, we need to remember this feeling that it's not. We don't get too complacent. We don't come off our work and come off the basics, because going 3 steps back hurts when you're clearly behind in terms of quality. You need to, where do you bridge that gap? And that's with all the basics, all the small details, and we were second best in that today as well. Hence, the result is a really convincing one against.
So the real interesting point I picked up from that, and Carl, you watched the full presser as you have the Argyle TV subscription, is not just that we've taken 2 steps forward, 1 step back. We need to take 2 steps forward again. It was like, we will. There was, you just feel, there's part of me that wonders whether or not he's given a little bit too much of a softy approach recently, and now he's going to go all out. Right, enough's enough. And I know we could argue that he should have been doing that earlier. It's just my assessment. But the fact that he looked to the interview and went, we will take 2 steps forward again next week. And you said that in his interview, his full interview, Carl, that he did sort of give that or mention the words, roll up the sleeves and just get on with it. So, I feel like he's still in the fight for it, and he is looking at the longer term situation of it all.
Yeah, I think he's quite an honest guy, and he's going to work hard for us. I don't think he's the type to give up and walk away from his contract. I don't think he's that type of person. But like you say, if we're still in the mud 15, 20 games in and we're still down there, there's no signs of improvement, then he might look at himself and think maybe, I've come to the wrong club, or I'm not as confident or as good as I think I am. And like Kenny said, he looks absolutely shattered. Maybe the summer, the transfer window is really taken out of him. Obviously, our start to the season hasn't been great, because apparently he does work all the hours under the sun, which is great to see. There's a lot of work to do in these next couple of days. I think he really needs to hammer down what he wants from the board in these next couple of days to try and get some quality. And he's used the word quality nearly in every presser. Lack of quality. We don't seem to be up for the fight. I mean, if we're not up for the fight in League One against the teams we played so far, it is alarming. But that's maybe down to, again, the lack of quality. If we had the quality, we would be a bit more physical, up for the fight, and have that quality to dominate games. But when we're not dominating, we don't have the quality. We're not punishing teams. We're lacking creating chances. We're not putting chances away when we're on top, and then we get sucker punched. There's so much to work on. I think we're not going to see the real Tom Cleverley side until probably end of September, early November, once we hopefully have a fully fit squad and have those reinforcements in. But I still think he's the right man to lead us, because we need that stability, and I think he will bring stability. I just hope the guy's backed. I really hope he's backed.
Well, Andy, I was going to come to you off the back of Andy B's comment, mentioning the lack of quality, possibly a dig at the board. Actually, part of me says that's also a dig at the players. So
Yeah,
He's a
possibly.
bit of
Yeah,
both. Yeah.
very
Yeah.
possibly. I look at what he said though, and it says about taking those 2 steps forward. And when we do take those 2 steps forward, we've got to remember that. And that's psychologically, he's saying, right, the good feeling you're going to get from winning the game, like we did at QPR. And I know Kenny sort of said, that's QPR was like the young players and stuff, but it's still a win. And there was a boost for them. And so when you get that 2 steps forward and you're winning games, you've got to start remembering how that felt after you won that game. The exhilaration you feel from the fans, the adulation you're going to get from the fans, and everyone calling you the name, and that's what you got to sort of hold on to. That sort of and say, right, we want more of this. We want more of that sort of feeling of being good and praise, and because everyone needs it. Everyone needs that sort of affirmation, say that you're doing good, you're doing well, and that's where he comes in, sort of on the mental side of that.
Yeah, Dave. So we can't attract players because we live in an outpost. That's what we keep getting told. Yeah, like that. I just trying to see. Was it just a Jan or someone mentioned about? Yeah, it'll be embarrassing if we lose against Peterborough. I'm just glad, and I did just look on another window here, that at least we're not playing Exeter until the 23rd of October. So and they won 3-0 again today. So yeah, I can't give them any respect there. So yeah, as long as we do that, I never knew that, Carl. Carl's commenting on the Block 9 X. Cosgrove has gone to Australia because it was someone who asked the question in there. Argo 83. So he admits the recruitment has been poor and we signed the wrong players. Then if he says we lack quality, blah blah blah. Yeah, I sort of get that. Tycho 3 window rebuild job for me, and we were and would like us to stick with Cleverly for all of it, but equally need to stop the humiliations and live up to his promise of not being someone that rigidly sticks to a style and formation. We have got. But I'm going to play, before I come to the formation that Gavin sent to me before he shot out for his lovely dinner tonight with his wife, is Harvey's response. So Harvey has got football on that tomorrow. So he said he wouldn't be able to come in really. From someone that goes to every away game, including Tuesday night, yeah, I don't blame him. I did call him something for not coming on, but I won't repeat that here. He's a good lad though, but I've clipped, because he said he really did sort of outpour in this one. So, Sophia, plug your ears. Sophie, plug your ears. I'm going to play this one now.
Cardiff City 4 from 5-0, it's spineless. It's gutless, it's embarrassing, it's shit. It's a club that doesn't look as if they was in the Championship less than 12 months ago. And it's embarrassing. I feel currently embarrassed to be a Plymouth Argyle fan, and I never thought I'd say that. Where do we go from here? We've got no attacking identity. Tolai and Ashby Hammond, my players that stood out today, my 6 or 7 out of 10, the rest were dog shit. Cardiff sit top. Congratulations to them. Best of luck for the rest of their season. I'm sure they'll be up there. Whereas for Argyle, where do we stand? Are we going to be a mid-table team or are we going to be fighting relegation? We just don't know at the moment. We just don't know. We need players in. I keep saying this every week. We get 1 or 2, but we need a few more players in, a few quality players. I don't know what Tom Cleverley's going to say in the press conference, because what excuse has he got now? What can he say now? See you at the next one.
Yeah, see, so I know the sound wasn't 100% perfect there, but hopefully that came through okay. That's probably just a lot of what the fans are feeling, bottled up, to someone that, pays a lot of money to go to all those games. Obviously, go and look at his YouTube channel and give it a subscribe. Yeah, that was quite raw, wasn't it, Carl? I mean, you were there as well at the end of the game. Obviously, I know you don't do the videos, but that you would have been feeling exactly that.
Yeah, just like I said before the game, we were all up for it. We felt confident. We thought we turned the corner after kind of Tuesday's performance, and thinking that if we could perform like that against a strong Swansea side, then we could take that into today, and we did. First 20, like I said at the start, I thought we started okay without really troubling Cardiff, but we looked solid. But yeah, there's a couple of goals before halftime just utterly killed us. And we've always found it hard to come back from a goal down, especially 2 goals. I know we tried at Lincoln. Again, bad luck with the penalty and the red card, and we weren't given a penalty ourselves. We're not getting the luck of anything at the moment. The refereeing decisions, deflections. When you're down there, You know, it happens every time, doesn't it? When you're down in the bottom of the table, you don't get the rub of the green, and that's what's happening at the moment. I don't think it's totally on lack of quality. It's just, a worldy strike, deflections, stupid decisions, penalties, red cards. There's a whole mixture of things. It's not purely lack of quality. It's,
indiscipline.
many things.
Yeah, I want to. I'm going to bring up Pilgrim Petey's question here that he posted just now. From what you've seen so far, does Tom Cleverley have a plan B? Well, this is where I think, and like I said, excuse the Amieci inclusion. Gav did this very quickly before he was going out, so I've suggested that he be swapped with Finn. Maybe it's time to actually go to a back three. I said it before on here. I said it earlier in the show. James from the Argyle Way, highlighted to us how Cleverley's best section within the season last year in the Championship was the first half, where he did start with a back three and then was forced to sort of adjust to a back four. So you'd have to sort of say he's come straight in and play with a back four with us, which could be just down to the players that we've got. So Gavin's saying going 3-1-4-2. So for those that are watching live and listening post on the podcast, he's gone with Connor Hazard in goal. Not 100% sure if he's ready for Cheltenham, but if not, then I'll read them all out and then come to you for your thoughts. Matthias Ross on right back. I think that was the game that he said, Carl, if you can mute for a second, was when he would make it back. Alex Mitchell in centre, centre back, and Brendan Wydu on the left, with Malachi Boateng just in front of them, and then in front of him in the four there, Benarous on the left, Jamie Patterson, Caleb Watts, and then, like I said, it would be Finn, really, not Amieci, because he's out until the new year. And then up front with Talai and Bim Peppel. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. But Andy, I'll go to you. What are you thinking? Something's got to change. And if we see something like a back three on Friday, it would echo then Petey's point of, does he have a plan B? If he goes with a back four, then you're sort of thinking to yourself, maybe he doesn't see anything different.
I like what he's got there. The only difference I would make there is Ben Peppel. I don't think he's strong. He's got the presence. Yeah, of course he has. But Aseni is a better player up there, I would say, with Talai.
But could he, Andy, be that physical player that... I mean, when he came on against QPR, Talai couldn't win a ball off that defender. Peppel comes on and manages to hold the ball against that defender.
Against 18-year-olds.
Look,
what did he do today?
I get it, but I'm clutching at these straws. But could he be that style that does help hold the ball up to feed it off to Talai, that partner, as Carl said, the Port Vale fans were saying, to work alongside? Or does he need an Oseni, that style of player, like you said, to then work alongside him either way?
Yeah, Oseni for me, every day, Oseni for me. What did Peppel do today when he came on? Not a lot. Sorry. I think we're not good enough for this level.
I think we need a player like Peppel, but not Bim Peppel. We need someone that's got a bit of presence. We need someone that's got a bit of... Someone that can fucking... Sorry, I'm swearing. Someone that can jump. For the guy, the size of the guy, he's massive. He looks strong, but he's so immobile. Yeah. It reminds me of a bit like, what's his name? Obafemi. He's got a bit of muscle, but can't really jump or do anything with his strength.
Whereas Aseni will run at players. He's not very good at holding the ball up, but he'll create space and create...
Agreed.
He's more creative than Peppel.
I think at the moment you'd have to go with a Talai Aseni double up top, because I think
I'd rather have
our best pairing, unless you bring anyone else in. Connor Hazard's not going to be fit for Tuesday. I would throw in Zach Baker for that game. As an utterly pointless game. Throw Zach Baker and give him some chances.
Yeah, why not?
Obviously, Ross he said he's going to start that game. Do we risk Alex Mitchell?
I'd almost drop Mitchell.
Obviously, the young lads would probably people like Tegan Finn if he's fit. Joe Hatch, Caleb Roberts, Asaka. I wouldn't play not many of those players on the screen there. We need to not pick up any more injuries at this moment in time.
No, I think with the sort of the back three, I think Benarous, playing, obviously on that left side, left wing, there is him and Jim Patterson, I think would be good. Hatch definitely linked up well with them when Benarous was in that left back playing and supporting them both up there. So yeah, that's interesting one. Kenny, not Kenny Pester, but another Kenny evening says, I've seen shadows with more movement than Pebble. If you are watching Pebble on the journey back, or you probably own by now, obviously.
No, they were back ages ago.
Then yeah, it's for you to show these guys what you can do. We've also got Matty H saying as well, Pebble doesn't move. Pilgrim Petey, I should have said, does Cleverly have a plan B when we go? That's just cut off my screen when we go behind. Yeah, I think the issue with that though is the mentality. So if they sort of drop off too much, because we've seen us come out and do well off the back of the second half, was it Barnsley, and then thing where we lost 3-2 and we couldn't claw it back. There is those signs there, but the mentality has to be right. So they've both got to go hand in hand. Stephen Cooper, well done, Harvey. You should get an OBE for your support up Tower Cabs, Harvey. Hope I take you Asda shopping. I don't know. He struck me as a little man, but Argo 83. Please, no more injuries in this pointless paint cut, please. I know it might seem pointless, and Carl alluded to that. I still think it's important for us while we've got a lot of players that need to get minutes with no other matches to really do. And Accidental Pilgrim is in with a comment. Good evening. Nice to see you back, mate. 5 away wins in 49, and yet thousands still travel. Their dedication is starting to look more like
that's a crazy stat. 5 away wins in 49. That's tragic.
Well, you know what they say: if you always did what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got.
I think maybe if the fans decide not to go, we'll be absolutely fine, because we seem to play absolutely fine with only a few hundred fans. So boycott away games, we'll stop winning.
Hit all your money on a VPN and an Argyle TV subscription. And
this
then
is where Cleverly is right by saying that we have to, when we get that 2 steps forward, we have to bottle it, bottle that, and right, keep it, remember what it feels like. Yeah, because if you don't bottle things like that, and the joy you're going to get from it, you're just going to go away, going to go down, going to lose, then that's it. Your head's dropped.
Oh, maybe that was the same Kenny, because he's now saying his title is saying Kenny Pester. So I don't know what happened there, Kenny. Argo 83, 5 away wins in 49. Wow, yeah, exactly that. I mean, I'm serious now. To break the hoodoo, so to speak, maybe we should just say, don't send that. Those of you that normally go, just don't go. Try and get together down a pub or whatever, or a location, and just see what happens. You never know. I'm going to wrap up now, because Carl's not the only one that travelled for hours. As I said earlier, I took the kids, Ben and Sophie, who's here, to Yeovil Airfleet Museum. The wife wanted to catch up on a lot of work, because she does a lot of stuff private. And I said, I'll take them out for the day. I don't think I'll miss too much. Clearly I didn't. And then got back. I think we got back at 3, actually. And then I popped into town, and then came out of town, curbed it coming out of Drake's, and all I heard was a psh, and I was like, and yeah, the right rear tire got ripped off its bead, and yeah, that's going to be expensive. But thanks to Audi and the AA for coming out, and the AA managed to pit a space saver on, because obviously these cars these days have this squeeze gel expanding foam, which is no good when you've got a hole in your sidewall. And he lent me his space saver and said, just let us know on Monday when the garage is taking it off, and I'll go and get it, so I can still use my car. So big shout out to the AA guy.
If anyone's joining now, they'll be thinking, what's going on here? Well,
I mean, those of you that have known me long enough do remember my traffic updates coming back from Stoke with Gavin. So there you go. But yeah, look, I mean, it might be one of these moments again. Is that playing? I can hear it. I had it turned down. There we go. Is it playing now?
It's playing now.
So it might be one of those Simon Bates moments of Kai's got a rain cloud effect. But look, do you know what? We'll still be here talking about it, whether it's good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever. We will be back on Thursday, as you can see there, as usual, for our live lounge. Yeah, it's getting a bit boring talking about the breakdowns. Other breakdown services are available.
I'm a good counsellor, apparently.
It's a bit of a like sort of, what you call it, random one, because the service comes with Audi, and then like you don't know who's going to turn up, but it was the AA, and I'm glad that they did. So, but yeah, so and all for all the comments tonight, Matty H, keep it green, absolutely. Andy B, well done guys, thank you for that. GT, come on you greens. Accidental, great work lads, definitely 3 steps forward for the pod. So yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, look, it takes a lot to do what we do. We appreciate that. It also helps if you can subscribe to us on YouTube and also retweet and share the channel, and also of course follow it. I think we've got just under 800 tonight from what we're seeing. So yeah, it all does help. And Stephen, I need you to send me that email so I can sort your merch out. And I've still got to get these items put on the website. So yeah, other than that, it's just left for me to ask Andy, any final words or any words of wisdom or support for us suffering Green Army?
I don't know about words of wisdom, but let's take a leaf out of Stockport County's book. Someone made a comment about Stockport. If we don't beat Stockport, then it's going to get very interesting at the fans forum. You know, look at teams come up: Stockport, Doncaster, Wimbledon, FC Wimbledon. Who's the other team that came out? Bradford, and they're all doing really well because they've got a winning mentality, right? At the moment, Argyle have got a losing mentality. We need to shift that. We need to get back to winning ways, and I think 1 or 2 wins will just get us back on track again. And those 2 steps forward will be sort of easier to bottle and keep. That's my words of wisdom for tonight.
Carl, I'm not going to bother with the forum this time, to be fair, because it's mental at work as well and getting ready for this show. Are you going to go to this one? And what final thoughts?
No, my work route has already been done. I'm working for that one. I'm not going to bother changing it. I think it's going to be samey. I do hope some different people turn up and do ask some more difficult questions, which probably needs to happen now, I think. But yeah, going forward, I think the next couple of days are going to be absolutely key for the immediate weeks going into the Christmas period in January. Because we need some added depth, strength, and we need some leaders and need some winners in this team to help turn fortunes around. And we still got some difficult games. I mean, I'll run this season, the first 8 games, probably the hardest running we could have had, like Cleverly said in the press conference numerous times. We've had all the ones that come down with us, all the fancy teams. Maybe after, when we play Stockport and Luton, we'll have an easier run. But yeah, I don't think it's panic stations yet. I think we'll be, obviously you guys that'll be on Thursday will obviously have a few more signings to talk about, and we'll know where we're at. But until then, I think the next 2 days are absolutely vital for the season.
Yeah, no, we might have played a lot of the stronger teams, but let's not forget we were meant to also be one of those stronger teams. Yeah. And so I'll just leave you with that. But look, yes, I appreciate those that have joined us, as Kenny's just said at the end there. Enjoyed tonight, especially as I wasn't going to tune in after traveling back from the game. We always know that is a danger when it's not good, that you don't always want to, sort of chip in. Yeah, we appreciate it as always, like I said. So, other than that, that's it from me, really. Just enjoy the rest of your weekend. That's all we can do. For those of us that are F1 fans, the F1 is back. So I get to enjoy that tomorrow. So on that note, we shall see you on Thursday. Thanks all.